Hello gentlemen, it's David. How you doing? Coming to you on the Enlightenment channel. Got a nice little subject, little ditty for you today. I'm going to share with you this great Craigslist ad that a woman put up. But let me preface by saying one of the most important core tenets that we're going to discuss on this channel about manliness and manhood is self-control. That's going to be one of the big things that separates the men from the boys. When you have self-control, it's impossible for someone else to control you, to seduce you, to string you along like a puppy on a string. And it's really a matter of a man kind of having a grip on his passions and knowing that you're going to be okay and that you're going to get what you want, and not being so easily tempted by, a carrot on a string. Or more importantly, a sexy piece of ass. You're going to find that women usually manipulate sex and their sexuality to get what they want from men. And as an example of that, I'm going to read to you a great ad that a friend of mine sent me. It's a 25-year-old woman from New York put this on Craigslist a while back. And what she's doing is she's looking for a rich husband and can't quite seem to figure out why she can't get one. So let me first. I'm going to give you the ad, and then a great investment banker got on Craigslist and gave her a very concise, scathing response, which is just awesome. And there's a great lesson in here. So let me read this to you. This is the young woman, 25-year-old woman, puts an ad on Craigslist. She says, "What am I doing wrong? Okay, I'm tired of beating around the bush. I'm a beautiful, spectacularly beautiful girl, 25-year-old girl. I'm articulate and classy. I'm not from New York. I'm looking to get married to a guy who makes at least $500,000 a year. I know how that sounds, but keep in mind that $1 million a year is middle class in New York City, so I don't think I'm overreaching at all. Really. Are there any guys who make $500K or more on this board? Any wives? Could you send me some tips? I dated a businessman who makes average around $200,000 to $250,000, but that's where I seem to hit a roadblock. You poor thing. $250,000 won't get me Central Park West. I know a woman in my yoga class who is married to an investment banker and lives in Tribeca, and she's not as pretty as I am, nor is she a great genius. So what is she doing right? How do I get to her level?" Here are my questions specifically. Where do single rich men hang out? Give me specifics. Bars, restaurants, gyms. What are you looking for in a mate? Be honest, guys, you won't hurt my feelings. We'll get back to that one in a minute. Is there an age range I should be targeting? I'm 25. Why are some of the women living lavish lifestyles on the Upper East Side so plain? I've seen really plain Jane boring types who have nothing to offer, married to incredibly wealthy guys. I've seen drop-dead gorgeous girls in singles bars in the East Village. What's the story there? And then she asks about jobs she should look out for, and she's looking for marriage only. Okay. Wow. Can you say sense of entitlement? I mean, this girl grew up beautiful, entitled to a man who is just going to take care of her every need. Yeah, this really exists. And you know what? I mean, in the girl's defense, we as a society tend to reinforce that. Wealthy men, I mean, what do we love? We love young, hot women. I mean, honestly, we do. So this is a social more that is not going to go away, ever. So you kind of can't fault the gold digger for acting in accordance to its nature. It's kind of like the parable of the scorpion and the frog. The scorpion says to the frog, will you give me a swim, put me on your back, and so he can swim across the river? And the frog says, but scorpion, if I put you on my back, you will sting me. And the scorpion says, but that wouldn't make sense because then we would both die as I cannot swim. Frog says, okay, that makes sense. It's a kind of a win-win. So the scorpion gets on the frog's back and they start going across the river, and the scorpion stings the frog. And the frog starts to, and as they both start going underwater to drown, the frog says, but scorpion, why did you sting me? We will both die. And the scorpion says, I could not help it. It's in my nature. Gold-digging women with this sort of entitlement, they really can't help it. It's in their nature. Especially if this young lady's as beautiful as she claims to be. beautiful young women are treated differently by men all of their lives. You know, the monsters that they become we create that. You know, we as men create that. So I guess my recommendation to you men watching this, you need to be very aware. You know, you can't simply fall for it. You can't simply go along and think, okay, well, I got the money, that means I have to buy the pussy. You do not have to buy the pussy. I'm going to share with you now a great response an investment banker got on Craigslist and answered this girl, and his is just fantastic. So here's what he says. I read your posting with great interest and have thought meaningfully about your dilemma. I offer the following analysis of your predicament. Firstly, I'm not wasting your time. I qualify as a guy who fits your bill. That is, I make more than $500K a year. That said, here's how I see it. Your offer, from the perspective of a guy like me, is plain and simply a crappy business deal. This guy, I want you to listen to every word this guy says. Here's why. Cutting through all the BS, what you suggest is a simple trade. You bring your looks to the party and I bring my money. Fine. Simple. But here's the rub. Your looks will fade and my money will likely continue into perpetuity. In fact, it is very likely that my income increases, but is an absolute certainty that you won't be getting any more beautiful. So in economic terms, you are a depreciating asset and I am an earning asset. Not only are you a depreciating asset, your depreciation accelerates. Let me explain. You're 25 now and will likely stay pretty hot for the next 5 years, but less so each year. Then the fade begins in earnest. By 35, you're about done. So in Wall Street terms, we would call you a trading position, not a buy and hold, hence the rub, marriage. It doesn't make good sense to buy you, which is what you're asking for in marriage, so I'd rather lease. In case you think I'm being cruel, I would say the following. If my money were to go away, so would you. This is the truth. So when your beauty fades, I need an out. It's as simple as that. So a deal that makes sense is dating, not marriage. By the way, you could always find a way to make your own money, and then we wouldn't need to have this difficult conversation. Ladies, if you are serving a Bichette sandwich, don't expect the man to place an order. Guys, you got to be smart. Women with old-fashioned values aren't real common these days. We haven't raised them in this post-feminist society to be that way. That's just how it is. Don't hate them for it. They're a product of their upbringing. So when a woman is looking to trade her beauty for your money, it's a trading position. It's not a buy and hold. If that's one thing I can leave you with today, lease her. Don't buy.